The man of the hour, Marlin Briscoe, up to the podium here, as well as current UNO basketball player and Omaha Central graduate Tradeon Hollins, who was the model while Marlin played golf in Long Beach. I think it's clear that Tradeon doesn't have a confidence issue, so this is probably going to help with that. I'm sure you guys will love that up there in the corner. All right, here we go.
Thanks, everybody. I see a lot of familiar faces. This is such a great honor, and I'm very, very humbled by this procedure and process, and love and respect that I received from the time I was 5 years old to this date in time right now. You know, when I first met Tradeon, still can't pronounce it. They picked the right kid to do this. Well, first of all, he's taller than I am. He's better looking than I am. But the one thing he does have in common, he walks like me. That's impossible to find. And I want to thank the steering committee and all of those who engineered this process. It's really amazing. Last night was something out of a dream, and to see all of you here, particularly a lot of the players that I played with in college that really made this thing possible, made my journey possible. I had three receivers. They were all 6'4". So all I had to do was just let it go, throw it up in the air, and those guys would go get it. And I just happened to put it in the position. One thing about the statue, I have to add this. Johnny Rogers told Joe that he wouldn't have to use much material to create this statue because I'm not that tall. Now, we have a running debate about golf for one thing, but our running debate about who's the tallest, the jury's still out. I want to thank the, allergies. I want to thank the athletic committee, UNO and athletic committee, the University of Nebraska Foundation, and many of the donors and supporters who made this possible. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank some people in the front row. My wife, Michelle, over here, who lets me play golf and lets me be me. You know, on Sunday, that's my Sunday afternoon football to play golf. So I love you, and thanks for your support for the time that we've been together. It's been wonderful. I want to shout out to my daughter, Angela. Where is she? There she is. Yeah. Who has supported me from day one, and I love her. And my other daughter, Becky, is not here. She couldn't make it. But between the two of them, couldn't have better daughters. I love them to death. Bob Rose Jr., where is he? His father was Bob Rose Sr., in case you don't remember the name. His father was the architect of a lot of the players, both basketball, football, baseball players that came through at a time where we really needed discipline. I don't know if you ever seen the crossover step, the cutting that Johnny Rogers does, the cutting on the field that Gail Sayers does, and the cutting that I learned how to do. We all learned that from Bob Rose. Nobody in the city could teach that. And then there were some other guys on that team could do the crossover, because Charlie Gunn and Jimmy Gunn and Charlie Gunn, I'm sorry, and Vernon Brakefield. Those guys learned how to cut, like Johnny Rogers, Gail Sayers, myself, through a special technique that Bob Rose had. So Bob Rose, it sounded looks just like him. Will you stand up, please? Thank you. I'd like to introduce Floyd Little, an NFL Hall of Fame running back from University of Syracuse. He was my teammate with the Broncos. He says I saved his job. If I saved his job, please leave the check in the mail. Floyd is one of the most celebrated backs, particularly in college and professional ranks. He wore that number 44. It's 44. Jim Brown, Larry Zonka, and Floyd Little. It was a rite of passage to get that number, so he deserved it. You know, when I came to Denver, Floyd took me under his wing, even though it wasn't etched in stone that I was going to get a chance to play quarterback, but whatever position that I was going to play, you know, Floyd kind of took me under his wing, and I really appreciated that. When the time came that I got the opportunity to play quarterback, you know, it became more of a stressful job for Floyd, but he did it anyway. He really opened arms to me in the community, showed me the ins and outs of pro football, and I really appreciate that. And he's here today, and really appreciate him taking his time out of his busy schedule to come here and be a part of this. Floyd, love you, man. Shout out to Jimmy Jones. Not only was he a brother to me, he was, you know, more than just a player. He was like a brother in the family. His nickname is Big Duke. Does anybody care to figure out what Big Duke means? It's X-rated. No, okay, so Jimmy Jones, thank you for your friendship over the years. You know, it's like you're our adopted son here in Omaha. You came here in Omaha and then followed what followed you from New Jersey all the way to Omaha. So many gifted athletes, scholars, citizens from New Jersey that followed you out here, followed your lead, and we've been sisters and brothers ever since. And we want to just say thank you for your friendship. I know my mom had a special place in her heart for you and your family, and we still do. Jimmy Jones, thank you. I see Tom McKernan, Bill Haas. I don't know if Stanley's here. Will you guys stand up for me, please? These are my two receivers. Look at them. They're both 6'4". All I had to do was just throw it up there, and everybody got it. And I appreciate what they did for me, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those guys. Trust me. And they could run. And if we all three played basketball here at UNO, or Omaha University. And that was probably the most daunting task that we had, basketball. But football, we meshed together and couldn't have done it without you two guys. All right. Stanley for two. I don't know if Stanley's here. He's 6'4" too. Yeah, I was 5. Never mind. But I want to thank all the supporters for this event, for this recognition. You know, basically, to me, it's not about Marlin Briscoe. It's about the city of Omaha and you know, the village that we grew up in that helped us become the men and women that we've become. We didn't do it by ourselves. growing up in the projects in South Omaha. Miss Cribbs, my mother was Miss Cribbs' kid's mother. Miss Walls, and, I can go and name so many people that in our neighborhood, our enclave, and the projects were our mothers. If we got in trouble and my mother wasn't home, you had a mother to take care of that business. See? And we had the Woodson Center. Yes. The Woodson Center, as I mentioned last night, and I have to mention it. One other person I have to talk about growing up in South Omaha, and I'm sure that anybody that went to Indian Hills knows what I'm talking about. Miss Ida Gittler. See, Miss Gittler, strong-willed, strong-armed, but inside has a love of her that you can hardly imagine. If Miss Gillum was alive today, there would be no Crips, no Bloods, not on her watch. Nah, it wouldn't happen. And so when you had a problem in your classroom, of course they called Miss Gillum, and Miss Gillum used to wear these high-heeled, spiked heels. And when the teacher called her for some backup, you hear her coming down the hall. Clack, 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 clack. And you knew it was Miss Gillum. So by the time she got there, Miss Gillum turned into Miss Get Right. Because you got it right. By the time she opened the door to get in the classroom, you were standing there like, it wasn't me. So, those are people who line the fabric of how I grew up, how a lot of kids that I see in the audience today grew up. And, we were a melting pot, particularly in South Omaha. And, we still remain so today. I love everybody that I grew up with. They helped me be the person that I became, both the positive and the negative. When things got rough for me, when I made some poor decisions in my life, I thought about Miss Gillen coming down that hall. And, growing up in South Omaha and Omaha particularly, you learn from your mistakes and you pull back from your upbringing to get yourself back to square one. And, I mentioned one other thing I want to mention. The Denver Broncos quarterback, Peyton Manning, when he does what we call in football an audible. An audible is when you change the score, change your play at the line of scrimmage because you see that play is not going to work. Being a quarterback, I had to call an audible in my life. The life and the play that I was calling for my life wasn't going to work. So I had to call an audible. I had to switch plays. I had to switch my life back to a play, back to a life that's going to work. And I was able to do that. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that I learned from my upbringing here in Omaha. Any of us who will have any problems in life by making a bad decision, call that an audible, because you can win the game if you have the right play call. Thank you very much. Love everybody.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The magician!